Now he's my buddy. Here, hold on. We'll do. Cheers. I'll bonk his head. Runes. Oh my god. Concuss him. No big deal. Yeah, just elbow. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rich.
5 minutes later.
Marker. Hizeu elbows Rich in the face. All right, Rich, tell us about Svelte 5. Look at this man. All right, he's a wizard in and of himself. So let's hear him.
Gather around and let's talk about Svelte 5.
Louder?
A lot of you know that we've been hard at work on the next version of Svelte for a while now. And in this video, I'm going to share a preview of some of the new stuff.
There.
And hopefully
Is that better?
you're all as excited about it as we are. Before we do that, I want to talk about Svelte today. We like Svelte. We're proud of Svelte and all of the love that it gets in developer surveys and so on.
Top tier framework.
Top tier
framework. Yeah.
But there are some undeniable pain points that you've probably encountered and which are difficult to fix with Svelte's current design. Let's look at a simple component that we might write today. We're declaring a count variable and using its value inside our template.
Yep.
Every time you update its value inside the event handler,
using
the page automatically updates.
The function,
very cool, very easy to learn because there's no API, we're just using the language.
Yep.
If I want to add a derived value, I can do that.
You got $sign it.
Dollar label doubled equals count times 2,
Yep.
and that will be updated whenever count changes. There's a little gotcha here though. Because Svelte doesn't want to run this code until it's sure that there are no other changes to take account of, it won't recalculate doubled until right before the DOM is updated. So if, for example, you log the values inside the increment function.
Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Oh my god, that was loud.
Another gotcha is that the dependency tracking happens at compile time.
I'm Mattia. Thank you so much for the follow. Hey, hi, hello.
Right, it's count times 2.
Hold on. Yeah, that loud fucking made me miss a thing.
Log the values inside the increment function.
Hey, hi, hello.
You'll see that they get out of sync. Another gotcha is that the dependency tracking happens at compile time. What I mean by that is that the compiler looks at this expression on the right, it's count times 2, and understands that the value of double is dependent on the value of count.
Right.
But what if we refactor our code by having a double count function? The compiler can no longer see the dependency, which means that double will never be updated. This makes it a little hard to refactor code out of
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Means that they tend to attract.
So, if you want to like derive values and stuff, because Svelte is using a compiler, it's not like finding that like dependency or like whatever.
Complexity. Now let's imagine that we want to encapsulate this logic so that it can be reused. Perhaps when I have multiple counters on the page. I might try wrapping it in a create counter function like this.
Okay.
But this completely changes the meaning of the code. It no longer behaves the same way because it's no longer at the top level of the component.
Yeah, and Svelte couldn't see
no longer becomes magically reactive.
the $sign and anything.
Has no special meaning at all. This is just an assignment to an undeclared variable.
Right, it's like confused.
So at this point, we have to use a completely different mechanism. We have to use a custom store. First, we import writable from svelte/store. And then we create a writable store inside create counter so that we can steal its subscribe and update functions.
Yep.
If an object has a subscribe method, then it's a store.
This is kind of like React
from our function.
React dealable type deals.
Along with increment. But increment can't just assign directly to count anymore. We need to use this update function with a callback that produces a new value from the old value. And I'm not even going to get into how we implement doubled here. Once we've done all that, we can create a counter object.
Create.
Update the event handler.
Create.
And reference the store value by prefixing it with a $. And now our counter works again in a reusable form. Now I'm speedrunning large chunks of the Svelte tutorial here, and I'm zeroing in on problematic things, but I think you get the idea. There is room for improvement. Let's take another example, a to-do list. In this demo, we have an each block with some bindings.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna skip around. I'm gonna skip to the new changes. Taking notes. Yeah, we are taking notes. There will be a quiz. Okay. Introducing runes. Thank you.
That you can
All
apply
right.
incrementally. So
there is
ado,
rune for improvement.
Runes. A rune
I need a
is
soundboard so bad.
Or mark used as a mystical or magic symbol. In Svelte, runes are function-like symbols that provide instructions to the Svelte compiler. The first rune we're going to learn is state.
So, like, it talks directly to the compiler? Oh, we are druids now.
Let's go back to our counter example.
We're like magic guys.
Our counter example. 2 words. The first thing I'm going to do is use the state rune to mark count as a reactive value. At first you might look at that and think, but why?
Why?
Maybe you're thinking of the meme. Maybe you're reading
You blew it up! God damn you!
No!
God damn you!
How?
Bear with me. I promise this will all make sense very soon.
Yeah, hold on. So now we have $state, which is a little bit, it's a little bit more boilerplate because it's kind of like signals, you know what I mean? Like, you know how like in solid you do signal parentheses like 0 or something, right? To make it like reactive or whatever. But like, because Svelte is a compiler, we could just go straight like let count equals 0, right? So now we're adding a new thing, a boilerplate. Let's have Rich explain it, because honestly, I don't know.
You can see that everything just works like before. All we need to do to update this value is assign to it. Under the hood, Svelte is using something called signals to make this work. Count is turned into a source signal. The assignment is turned into a set call. And we have something down here called a render effect that updates the DOM. When this function runs, we call this get function. The count source knows that it should notify that render effect whenever its value changes. If I try and put doubled back in using the $: label, it's going to yell at me because we're now in runes mode by virtue of the fact that we're using the state rune. So instead of that, we're going to learn the next rune. Derived. In runes mode, we say
I'm so smart.
equals derived. Count.
Okay, so we're not using $, $: doubled equals count times 2. Now we have to use let doubled equals derived. Okay. Svelte 5 is a solid JS mod confirmed. Don't tell Sarah that.
Times 2.
Okay.
Now, derived behaves a little bit differently to the $: label.
Okay.
Remember before how the values got out of sync? That no longer happens. The value is still recalculated lazily, but it's recalculated when we need it, so it stays in sync.
In sync. Okay.
You'll also recall that if we refactored this into a function, it would break. That no longer happens because we're tracking
That is cool. This is cool. The fact that we can pass it a function to get a derived state, that's really cool. Because that means, what do you call it? We could definitely do a lot more mutations. Because usually, right, if I Svelte dev do REPL, usually when I have something like fancy, like multiple stuff, usually I would do like a $, and then this not parentheses, curly braces thing, so that I could add more function. So like maybe I have like let, also I don't know if svelte.dev has the runes in it, but if we do let message, right, do that, and then I want to do 2 uppercase, right, and then add it to message. Can I just do that? That'd be great. Like that, and then get rid of that. We could do what, like message? Oh, that doesn't work. There you go. Like if we want to do not mutations, but like we want to do something with the original value before getting a derived thing, usually I would do this so that it is reactive, so that it stays in sync. But we don't do that. We don't have to do that anymore. We can just, we could just do a function, which is going to be so much easier to deal with, honestly. Because usually I put these at the very end of my script tag, like for organization's sakes. And sometimes that it gets annoying when this gets really, really long. So that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Dependencies when the expression is evaluated.
Yeah.
A few minutes ago, when we tried to encapsulate this logic into a reusable function, it got a bit ugly.
Oh, thank you so
RUNES,
much.
it is much, much simpler. I can just wrap this up inside a create counter function, and the RUNES will continue to work. Notice that I'm...
Wait. What? So we threw everything inside a function. And then we have a counter. We have create counter. Sure. And then it looks like here we have, I'm sorry, closed captioning. Get out. We have button. We have button on click counter.increment. So we have a get function here. Oh, and it's kind of like a property. That's cool. And then increment. I assume we could do like get double count here as well to get the double. And then we could do counter.double as well. And then we return the function itself so that we can use it. That's kind of neat. Like kind of encapsulate like reactive or encapsulate like component stuff into a function. Because I think we could do like multiple of these, right? In one component. That would be interesting to play around with. That'd be cool.
Using a get property here. That's because if I just return count, it'll be whatever the value was at the time the function was called, and we want counter.count to always
Svelte
refer
hooks,
to the current value. What's really cool about this is I can move it into an external module and it still works. There's no code changes necessary. You no longer have this magical Technicolor experience inside your Svelte components, but a lousy black and white one everywhere else. We svelted all over your code base. Another example. Here we've got a
Hold on. I'm gonna need that again. Rich, say that again.
Into an external module and it still works. There's no code changes necessary. You no longer have this magical Technicolor experience inside your Svelte components, but a lousy black and white one everywhere else. We svelted all over your code base. Another.
I'm sorry. I mean, who amongst us do not want to be svelted on? I'm just saying.
Another example. Here we've got a fun little canvas painting app. Inside the component, we have an on mount which runs some code when the
Rich can svelte on me. Svelte on me, daddy.
Below that, we have a reactive statement using the $label syntax. The first thing we need to do is check that our canvas context has been created.
Yeah, no, okay. This is what I mean. This is what I would usually do. I would make this whole ass like reactive function thing. But I assume now we can get out and do just like derived and state and stuff. Hold on. I want to see how he does it.
RUNES mode by turning this mouse value into reactive state. We'll get a compiler error telling us that we can't use the $label and should use derived or effect instead. So let's learn about the effect rune. Effect is what you use when you want something to happen in response to something changing.
Okay.
I'm going to
giving React use effect flashbacks. Ah! Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna let him. Okay. Hold on.
paste this code into our effect.
Okay. Sure.
And I'm going to delete the outer if context code.
Sure.
The reason I can do that is effects only ever run in the browser.
It's gonna be okay.
After the DOM
I know.
has been updated.
I know,
so
but
context is guaranteed to have been created in.
I don't know.
In fact, if we look at the JavaScript output and switch it into SSR mode, we can see that the effect has been completely removed from the output. The on mount is still there though. Now, if you're using SvelteKit or you've managed to set up your build tooling correctly, then that will get removed later on, but maybe we don't need it here either. It turns out that you can use effects instead of on mount as well. Now we can delete the import and see that it's all been removed from our SSR output.
What?
And everything continues to work. We can also return functions from our effects. These
Oh, whoa, it's too fast. Oh god, I don't know what I pressed. I'm sorry. Wait, the playback speed is normal. Wait, why did it go so fast?
We can put this update effect inside the initialization effect.
An effect inside of an effect. Oh no, that is dangerous. Oh no, stop pressing random buttons. No, fuck you, Nate. I will press any damn buttons if I want to. Fuck you. He's getting stronger. Yeah, he is getting stronger. Holy shit. No, I'm sorry, Nate. I'm sorry. It's fine. Okay. If you click on the video, YouTube plays it at double speed now. What? Console him, Cody. Console him. All right.
Now we can avoid cluttering up the top level scope.
I don't know how I feel about an effect inside an effect. But you know what? I'll just let it be. I'll let it be. I'll let it be.
All in all, it just allows you to encapsulate your code a little bit more logically than you could in the old world.
Okay. So, I assume, right, because this last variable right here isn't actually being used in terms of like top level stuff. Like if we were to imagine like it being like having like DOM effects, like, oh, this is a P and then we have like the last value being put in there. Right now, this variable last isn't being used in that. It's just being used to calculate the mouse and canvas shit, right? Like the drawing part. Like, but it's not being used anywhere else. So I assume we could just throw this inside effect and it'll make that variable as needed, because we don't need it at the top level. Okay? I think that's what he's saying. I think.
There's one last rune to show you, and that's the props rune. Today in Svelte, if you want to declare a prop, then you use export let, define the prop, and then optionally provide a default value.
Right, that makes sense.
If no default value is provided, it means the prop is required. If a prop is a reserved word like catch, then we can't declare it locally, so we have to create the prop in two stages. First, we declare a local alias, and then we export the alias to the outside world.
Right.
If we want to get all of the other props that weren't explicitly declared...
Never discount Svelte's ability to completely change the way you use it. Yeah. You know what? They're pioneers, god damn it. They will blaze through and not care, but it's always for the better. So you know what? I'm gonna let him do his thing. I'm gonna let him cook.
Declared. We need to use this $rest props thing. Finally, we can also export functions. This isn't a prop, it's actually a method on the component. Over in app.svelte, we have a reference to this child component provided by the bind this binding, and we can call its methods from outside. If we instead use the props rune, we can declare all our props in one go using familiar destructuring syntax.
Oh, that's actually really nice. I don't want to keep doing export let. I feel like I'll get attacked for this, but what is Svelte? No, don't worry. We're not like the other guys. No, I'm kidding. Svelte is a web development framework, UI. So when you make buttons and stuff in JavaScript, like in modern web development, you would use something like React, which is very popular. Like that's the most popular one. And this one is called Svelte, which is just a simpler syntax. It's a different thing, but right now we're just learning new web dev stuff. Okay, so yeah. Let's see here. But I'm glad to see that you are here, Doke Fish. First time chatter, I think. You know, we're just looking at a new update that just came out this morning. So, you know, excited. The reason why I never fully commit to Svelte is I am waiting for them to settle on things, but they never do, lol. I mean, sure. But, like, isn't that every framework, though? Just saying. Just saying. And what the fuck do you mean I'm feral?
And I can't show you this in the playground because we don't have TypeScript rigged up. But you can also use a type.
We don't have TypeScript rigged up.
To define the shape of your props. All in all, I think this is a pretty substantial upgrade. So that's a very quick introduction to Svelte 5. There's a lot more cool stuff that doesn't fit into a short video, but hopefully this has piqued your interest.
Okay.
With RUNES, Svelte becomes a much simpler framework.
Okay.
You don't need to understand the special let behavior. You don't need to understand the dollar label. You don't need to understand how export works. You don't need to switch mental modes between Svelte and non-Svelte JavaScript. You probably won't need to use stores or lifecycle functions. And so when people come to our community in future, they're going to have a much easier time getting comfortable. I think, if anything, I'm more excited about what this means for people who are already maintaining sizable Svelte code bases. We've spent a lot of time converting existing apps and libraries to see how it feels, and it really does feel good.
It feels
good. You can't
good.
install it yet. We don't have a release date, but the good news is that you can visit this playground converting existing apps and libraries to see how it feels, and it really does feel good. You can't install it yet.
No!
We don't have a release date, but the good news is that you can visit this playground right now. Just go to svelte5preview.vercel.app. We have docs, we have an FAQ, and a link to the Discord server so that you can come and ask your RUNES questions in the Svelte 5 RUNES channel. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the hard work done by the team on this. This wasn't easy.
Team.
It took a lot.
Team.
But hopefully you'll agree that it's going to be worth it. I want to thank the Svelte ambassadors who have given us a ton of great feedback.
The insiders.
Let's
go.
Team Svelte. All of the other framework communities whose research we're very much building on top of.
Solid.
Watching us now, and I want to thank you for watching. See you in Discord.
All right, good job, Rich. That was a great video. And yeah.